Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. You join me in my hotel room in Lincoln, where I am working in a school with some young people for the week. So yeah, once again I'm in a hotel room in Lincoln, but last week I was in Bristol and next week I'm in Kent. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my views, suggestions, opinions around how it is you should manage negativity on social media. Now, last week in particular, I was, as I say, working in a school in Bristol, which was a secondary school. So young people of that age are engaging in the world of social media. And I'm definitely not going to say that that's a bad thing because you're watching me on YouTube and I want you to subscribe to my channel. However, it comes with a price at times. Let me explain. Sometimes people receive negativity on social media, which is so uncomfortable and disturbing and upsetting that it makes the whole thing seem as if it's probably not worthwhile in the first place. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case, but what you do have to do is get smart about how you're using social media and who you allow yourself to get upset by and who you allow into your inner circle in that social media stream. I too get my fair share of hate on social media, and some of it's really quite vile and nasty. It used to bother me. It really doesn't bother me anymore. That's because I've got a couple of different strategies about how I go about dealing with it. And most of those really come from having developed a better level of resilience towards the comments that I might get. For example, I know now that if I retaliate towards the comments that I get, that may or may not pay off. So I have to evaluate that decision very carefully. In the past, I have retaliated and I've had it go both ways. So one time I retaliated and the person that I retaliated towards was so worn down by my reciprocal trolling of his trolling that he actually wrote me an apology. I think it also helped that I threatened to hunt down his grandma and tell her about his behaviour. The second one, when I went to retaliate, I discovered that he was probably only about 9 years old in the first place anyway, and that he really should be in bed. Now, the reason why that's an important one to tell you about is because at that point I started to wonder, what is the situation for the person who feels that they need to make those comments, that those comments are okay to make? They've got to be in a pretty dark place themselves to be able to think in that way, and for that reason I pity them. So I didn't take him down, but I did start to wonder about the level of sadness and pain that he must have in his life, or maybe the level of disengagement that he has with other people or with his parents, for him to think that it's okay to be able to make those sorts of comments to a grown-up, because I am a grown-up sometimes. Now, that's one side of it, is to start thinking about, okay, well, what's the other person's perspective on this? Another way for you to be able to increase your resilience in this area is simply by changing the meaning that you give to the comments that they make. Essentially, all you are doing is looking at black letters on a white screen. The only reason those words have meaning is because of the meaning that you choose to give them. If those hate comments were written in a different language, you wouldn't care because you wouldn't understand what those words meant. Those words wouldn't mean anything to you. So you do have the ability to kind of disregard what's being said, or at the very least think about those words in a very different way. So for example, if when you read those comments, you read it in a silly accent or a high-pitched voice like you'd been sucking on helium, you wouldn't feel the same way about it. In fact, there's a couple of really good videos that you can go and watch of famous YouTubers reading out their hate comments and laughing their socks off about them, because the way in which they read them takes away the power that the hateful person had intended for the message to be delivered with. Like, if you read those comments and you find them amusing, or you find a way to read them in an amusing fashion, then they won't have the same kind of power on you any longer. In addition to becoming more resilient so that you are able to see those comments but let them slide like water off a duck's back, there's another serious thing for you to consider. That is blocking the people who made the comments. Like, don't even bother responding. You're giving them your time and energy. Do you really want to do that? Maybe you could just block them and be done with it. Secondly, do you really need that particular social media stream? Now, the reason why I bring this one up is because I know that for some people, certain social media streams are more of a problem than others. For example, there is a new one, is it called Sahara, something like that, where you can leave anonymous messages. That kind of opens you up to some degree of vulnerability. Do you really need to be there? You know, if you're not able to block people from a certain circle that you're interacting in because other people keep adding them back in again, you've got to ask yourself, well, are those people my friends in the first place anyway? They're going to keep bringing toxins back into our circle. Maybe that's not the right circle for you to be in, and you should consider moving yourself away from that. Resilience is only going to get you so far. Intelligence gets you the rest of the way. So make intelligent decisions about who you're interacting with, where you're interacting, and who you're choosing to interact with. You might be able to make some better and more intelligent decisions, which will save you the need to become tougher and more robust against those hateful comments. If you can eliminate those hateful comments in the first place, that's a much better strategy. So go forth, enjoy your social media, subscribe to this channel because this is a good social media stream for you to be connected with, and make better decisions about how and when and where you choose to use your social media in the future. Bye for now. I had an itchy nose. And I'm dying. Ugh, okay.